Today we're talking about drop shotting. Drop shotting is one of those techniques that a lot of people think is only a deep water application. But I'm here to tell you can use it 4 inches to 40 feet deep. Let's talk about the 3 T's of drop shotting. First, the tackle. What I like to use in the Potomac River where it's a little bit muddy, I like to use 20-pound Gamma torque braid, and to that I want to take 14-pound Gamma fluorocarbon. I'll tie them together. When I tie the line together, I'll make the leader start about 6 inches from the tip of the rod going to the reel handle. Once I do that, then I'm going to tie a Palomar knot to the leader line. The leader line is very simple. I'm going to double the line. I'm going to pass it through the hook eye on the side of the hook without the point. I pass it through as if it's one piece of line. We tie an overhand knot. Then we take the hook, we pass it in through the loop. We grab the tag end, we wet the knot, we slip it down by pulling the tag end, and now we take the tag end and we put it back in through the side of the hook with the point. Pulling that down, all we have left for our tackle is to attach the bullet-shaped split shot from water gremlin, and that's called a bull shot. We'll take that and we'll crimp it to the line, tie an overhand knot at the bottom of the line, and now we can slide that weight up and down and make our leader anywhere from 4 inches to 4 feet, whatever you have in mind. That's our tackle. That's how we tie it. Our technique, simple. Less is more. You can pitch this, you can cast this, you could drop it over the side of the boat, you could drag it, you could shake it, you could do nothing. You can't fish this technique wrong. But all you have to do now is worry about how you detect a strike and what you do after that. Sometimes a bite, you might feel a little bit of a tap. If you feel a tap, just reel, feel the fish, and pull. Reel, feel, and pull. If you start to see your line move, and that means the fish has it, again, you reel, feel the fish, and pull. If the fish starts to pull, you reel a little bit to load the rod, and you pull. So you reel, you feel the fish, and pull. Drop shotting, a very easy technique to learn how to use. Use it all the time. Works better if the water's not totally muddy, but if it is muddy, shorten the leader. If it's colder, shorten the leader. Get closer to the fish, stay in the cover. Fish drop-offs, anywhere that you fish any other kind of bait, and you'll have success with the drop shot rig. And for the rod, what I like the Quantum rod. This is a really interesting rod. This is called the EXO. It's a very light rod. What I'm looking for is a tip that gives until the rod loads. I don't care what the rod maker calls it. They could call it medium with a fast tip. They could call it a lot of different things. But what you want to do is you want to grab the rod. You want to either put it on a carpet and bend it, or you want to spool it with line and give a little pull, and you'll see where this rod bends. I want about the first foot or so of the rod to bend, and then I want the rod to load, and that's when we reel, feel, and pull. After you make a cast with a drop shot, there are about 3 things that you could do. Number 1, nothing. Just keep the line with a little bit of slack in it and just hold the bait up off the bottom. 2, with a little bit of slack, shake the slack. That's going to make that bait dance around. Or 3, just drag the bait. Drag the bait. But if you want to start getting creative, sometimes you can just lift the bait up, let the bait fall, watching your line as it goes down in the water. Lift the bait up, let the bait fall. The whole time, your drop shot weight is keeping you in the strike zone, just sort of irritating those fish into biting. That's our tackle. That's how we tie it. Our technique, simple. Less is more. You can pitch this, you can cast this, you could drop it over the side of the boat, you can drag it, you can shake it, you could do nothing. You can't fish this technique wrong. But all you have to do now is worry about how you detect a strike and what you do after that. Sometimes a bite, you might feel a little bit of a tap. If you feel a tap, just reel, feel the fish, and pull. Reel, feel, and pull. If you start to see your line move, and that means the fish has it, again, you reel, feel the fish, and pull. If the fish starts to pull, you reel a little bit to load the rod, and you pull. So you reel, you feel the fish, and pull. Drop shotting, a very easy technique to learn how to use. Use it all the time. Works better if the water's not totally muddy, but if it is muddy, shorten the leader. If it's colder, shorten the leader. Get closer to the fish, stay in the cover. Fish drop-offs, anywhere that you fish any other kind of bait, and you'll have success with the drop shot rig. Okay, what we're going to do now is attach the Water Gremlin bullet-shaped split shot. It's called a bull shot. And all you have to do is open it up just a little bit, run a line through the center of the weight, and then crimp it shut with your fingers. You can also grab a pair of pliers and secure it a little bit more just by giving it a little bit of a squeeze. I like these weights because you can slide them up and down the line wherever you want them. But before I finish, what I'm going to do is tie an overhand knot on the bottom of the line so that when that weight slides down, it doesn't come off quite so easy when it gets snagged up in cover. After that, I'm going to pull out some of my favorite soft plastic baits. I like using the Man's hard nose baits because they have a hard nose and they tend to stay on the hook a little bit better. And I'm going to thread it right onto a Mustad 2/0 megabyte hook. And you can see with that hard nose, I put it on about maybe 1/4 of an inch, slide it up over the bend of the hook, of the offset of this wide gap hook, and then I'm going to text pose it. So I mark the bottom of the worm with my thumb because that's where I'm going to take the hook through. I pass the hook through the plastic entirely, and then I pull the plastic forward just a little bit to skin the point on the top of the hook into the bait. Okay, I'm going to tie a blood knot, and I'm going to use that to tie my fluorocarbon to my braid. I'm going to run the fluorocarbon about 5 wraps up the braided line. And when I get done to the end of that tag line of the fluorocarbon, I'm going to put it between where the braid and the fluorocarbon meet. And then I'm going to hold that section. Then I'm going to wrap the braid around the fluorocarbon, and I'm going to do that 5 times, but I'm going to add 2 more wraps so that I have a little bit bigger knot because the braid has a thinner diameter. Then I'm going to take the end of that braid and I'm going to put it in through the same loop that I had the fluorocarbon going through. Now I'm going to carefully grab both of those tag ends in the center, and I'm going to moisten the knot so that when I pull it, and I start to pull it on either end while I'm pulling from the center. So I'll pull one end a little bit, bunch the knot up towards the center, and then I'll pull the tag ends a little bit from the center, and I'll just keep pushing that knot tighter and tighter and slowly grabbing that knot until it tightens up and it gets to be as small as it's going to be. If I don't do that, then the knot will then continue to compress and might break at some point. But I found that this knot has held up for me better than most of the other knots that I use. And the nice thing about it is I can cut the tags right up next to the knot. And right up next to it, that knot will not come untied. I've got a very strong knot, and this is what I like. Take a friend fishing and always wear a PFD.